Imagine a world where every ounce of gold, every digital coin, every scrap of wealth you own is tracked, traced, and controlled. Not by thieves in the night, but by the very institutions meant to protect you. Picture the past. A banker's lamp flickers in a smoky backroom. Stacks of gold bars glint under the watchful eyes of government agents. Outside, anxious crowds gather, clutching coins and secrets, wondering if tomorrow their fortune will still be theirs. Now, fast forward. The gold is gone, replaced by invisible numbers, cryptic keys, and digital wallets. But the eyes watching have only multiplied. Every transaction, every transfer, every Bitcoin you send is a line of code on a public ledger, open for the world and for governments to see. What if your wealth was never truly yours? What if privacy is just an illusion, one that can vanish with a single law, a single click, a single crisis? This isn't just a story of the past, it's the story of now. From secret gold registries in the 1930s to blockchain surveillance in the 2020s, the tools have changed, but the game remains the same. Control the money, control the people. Coming up, the hidden history of government surveillance on money. How did we get from gold bars, locked in vaults, to Bitcoin wallets on the blockchain? And what does it mean for the future of your privacy and your freedom? The answers are buried in history, waiting to be uncovered. But the real question is, are you ready to see what's coming next? Let's step back to 1933. The world is gripped by depression. In America, the air is thick with fear. Bank runs, breadlines, and a government desperate to restore confidence. But behind closed doors, a new plan is taking shape. Picture the scene. A crowded bank lobby, the clatter of coins, the anxious whispers. A government agent pins a notice to the wall. Executive Order 6102. Every American is now required to surrender their gold, coins, bars, even family heirlooms, by May 1st. The penalty for defiance? 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine, enough to buy a house in those days. Across the country, people line up, clutching velvet pouches and battered lockboxes. Some weep as they hand over wedding bands and coins passed down for generations. Others hide gold in floorboards, behind bricks, or deep in the woods, hoping the government's eyes won't find them. But the eyes are everywhere. Agents keep lists, banks keep records. The gold is melted, recast, and locked away, its owners left with paper dollars, backed not by metal, but by trust. This wasn't just an American story. In 1962, India's Gold Control Act forced citizens to declare and deposit their gold. Families who had saved for decades watched their wealth vanish into government vaults. During World War II, Nazi Germany and occupied Europe tracked, seized, and transported gold across borders, turning private fortunes into state power. These were the first capital controls, laws designed to trap wealth inside borders, to keep it visible, taxable, and, if needed, seizable. Asset registration became the norm. If you owned gold, the government wanted to know. Why did governments need to know who owned every bar of gold? Because in times of crisis, control over wealth means control over destiny. What happened to those who tried to hide their fortune? Some succeeded, most did not. The price of privacy was fear, secrecy, and sometimes ruin. But as the world moved to paper money, the surveillance game changed. The next era would bring new tools, new tactics, and a new target: your cash. The year is 1971. A nation sits glued to their television sets as President Nixon delivers a speech that will echo for generations. With a calm voice, he severs the final link between the US dollar and gold. No more gold standard. No more metal behind the money. Just paper, fiat currency, backed by nothing but government promise. Suddenly, the rules of wealth change overnight. Gold is out. Cash is king. But with this new era comes a new kind of surveillance. Picture the 1980s. Banks hum with activity, but behind the scenes, a quiet revolution is underway. Governments, worried about tax evasion and criminal money, introduce anti-money laundering laws, or AML. Every large deposit, every suspicious transfer, every new account is flagged, logged, and reported. The bank teller is no longer just a clerk. They're the government's first line of defense. Fast forward to the 2000s. Digital banking explodes. Money moves at the speed of light, crossing borders with a click. But so does government oversight. Now, every wire transfer, every ATM withdrawal, every online payment leaves a digital footprint. Privacy shrinks. Transparency grows. Then comes 2013. Cyprus, a tiny island nation, becomes the epicenter of a new kind of financial shock. Banks are closed. ATMs run dry. When the doors finally open, depositors discover a brutal truth. Their savings have been raided to bail out the banks. It's a bail-in, where the government doesn't just print money, it takes it directly from your account. The message is clear. If your wealth is in the system, it can be tracked, taxed, or seized at a moment's notice. How did cash become the new target for government eyes? Because paper money, unlike gold, can be monitored, frozen, or erased with a single keystroke. What happens when your savings can be frozen with a single order? The fear of the past returns, only now it's digital. But the digital revolution was about to make surveillance even easier. A new era was dawning, one where every transaction, every coin, every wallet could be watched in real time. Now we enter the age of digital gold, cryptocurrency. Born from a desire for privacy and freedom from government control, Bitcoin promised a new kind of money. Decentralized, anonymous, unseizable. Or was it? At first, the dream seemed real. Early adopters traded coins in a world that felt like the digital Wild West. Transactions were just strings of numbers and letters, seemingly untraceable. For a moment, it looked like we had finally found a way to own our wealth, truly and privately. But governments are quick to adapt. What they couldn't control, they learned to watch. The same blockchain technology that made Bitcoin possible also created a permanent, public ledger of every transaction. It was a surveillance goldmine. Specialized firms emerged, using sophisticated software to trace crypto flows, link anonymous wallets to real-world identities, and unravel complex webs of transactions. The illusion of perfect anonymity began to crack. Exchanges, once unregulated gateways, were brought into the fold. They were forced to adopt Know Your Customer, or KYC rules. Now, to buy or sell crypto, you need to provide your name, address, and a photo of your ID, just like at a bank. Your anonymous wallet is now directly linked to your real identity. The watchful eyes are back, and this time, they're armed with algorithms. Think about the implications. Every donation you make, every purchase, every transfer to a friend is recorded on an immutable ledger, potentially forever. And if the government decides a transaction is suspicious, they have the tools to follow the money right back to you. We've seen this happen. In the Canadian trucker protests, digital fundraising accounts were frozen. Crypto wallets were targeted. The message was sent loud and clear: even decentralized money isn't safe from centralized power. So where does this leave us? We've journeyed from gold bars hidden under floorboards to digital coins stored on the blockchain. At every step, the promise of private wealth has been met with new forms of government surveillance. The tools have evolved from simple registration lists to powerful AI that can analyze trillions of data points. The fundamental conflict remains the same: your right to privacy versus the state's demand for control. The next frontier is already here: central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. This isn't just digital cash, it's programmable money controlled directly by the government. Imagine a world where your money has an expiration date, where your spending can be restricted to certain goods or locations, where your account can be instantly frozen if you step out of line. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's the stated goal of many central banks around the world. From the gold seizures of the 1930s to the crypto tracing of today, the pattern is clear. When a crisis hits, whether it's economic depression, war, or social unrest, governments expand their power over your wealth. The question we must all ask ourselves is, what will we do when the next crisis comes? Will we have a plan to protect our assets, our privacy, and our freedom? The history of money surveillance is a warning. It shows us that what is visible can be controlled, and what can be controlled can be taken. The future of wealth won't be about choosing between gold, cash, or crypto. it will be about navigating a world where every financial move is watched. Understanding this history is the first step to preparing for what comes next. The year is 2009. The world is still reeling from the global financial crisis. Banks have collapsed, fortunes have vanished, and trust in the system is at an all-time low. Out of this chaos, a mysterious figure, known only as Satoshi Nakamoto, releases a white paper that will change the world. Bitcoin is born. It was a radical idea, a new kind of money, borderless and decentralized, promising freedom from the very institutions that had just failed us. No banks, no governments, no middlemen. Just you, your cryptographic keys, and a simple promise. Your money, your control. At first, Bitcoin was just a whisper on the internet, a niche obsession for tech-savvy cypherpunks, rebellious thinkers, and digital dreamers. It was the currency of a new frontier, a digital Wild West where the old rules didn't apply. But whispers have a way of becoming roars. By 2017, the roar was deafening. Headlines screamed of overnight millionaires and catastrophic losses. Everyone from Wall Street bankers to your next-door neighbor was talking about it. And with all that attention came the eyes of power. Governments took notice. Regulators scrambled to catch up, trying to fit this revolutionary technology into old, outdated boxes. The very thing that made Bitcoin revolutionary, its public ledger, the blockchain, became its greatest vulnerability. This digital scroll, recording every single transaction, was designed to be a shield of transparency, ensuring no one could cheat the system. But in the hands of others, it became a spotlight. Soon, a new industry emerged, blockchain analytics. Companies like Chainalysis and Elliptic developed powerful tools, like digital bloodhounds, capable of sniffing out the trail of every coin, tracing every wallet, and connecting every move. What was once celebrated as anonymous was now revealed to be radically transparent. Every transaction, forever etched in digital stone, for anyone with the right tools to see. The dream of anonymous digital cash was fading. Governments, realizing they couldn't stop the technology, decided to co-opt it. China moved first, launching the digital yuan, a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. This wasn't a tool for freedom, it was a tool for control. Every payment could be tracked, every wallet could be frozen with a click. Programmable money meant programmable people. In the US and Europe, similar proposals emerged. New rules would require crypto exchanges and wallet providers to collect your name, your address, your entire transaction history. The old system's rules of know your customer and anti-money laundering were being retrofitted for the digital age. Then, in 2022, the world got a chilling demonstration of what this new power looked like. In Canada, during widespread protests, the government froze the crypto wallets of demonstrators with a single court order. There was no need for a bank run, no need for armored trucks or police raids. Just a few lines of code and digital assets, the supposed tools of the free, were locked, untouchable. This raises a fundamental question we all need to ask. Is Bitcoin really anonymous? Or is it the most traceable, most surveilled form of money ever invented? The blockchain is transparent by design. Every coin's journey is public, permanent, and open to anyone who knows how to look. So why are governments racing to launch their own digital currencies? Because if they can't beat them, they'll join them, but on their own terms. Programmable money means programmable control. A transaction can be approved, denied, or even reversed in real time based on who you are, where you are, or what you're buying. It's a level of oversight that would make George Orwell blush. So where does this leave us? We often hear Bitcoin compared to digital gold. Both promise a hedge against inflation. Both promise a degree of privacy and freedom from the traditional financial system. But in this new digital age, the eyes watching us have never been sharper. The next great battle for privacy, and for our wealth, has only just begun. Think about the difference. Gold bars in a vault versus Bitcoin in a wallet. Both are seen as symbols of freedom. Both hold a promise of privacy. But in the hands of governments, both become targets. Let's picture the old world. A gold bar, heavy and cold, hidden under the floorboards or buried deep in a backyard. To seize it required physical force. It meant agents kicking down your door, vaults being cracked open, and secrets being pried from trembling hands. If you were clever, if you were careful, if you trusted no one, you might just keep your gold safe for a lifetime. But one slip-up, one careless whisper, and it could all be gone. Now picture the new world. A Bitcoin wallet, invisible, seemingly weightless, protected by a long string of numbers and a secret phrase you can memorize. There's no vault to crack, no physical object to find. But remember, every transaction, every movement of those coins is written on the blockchain. It's public, it's permanent, and it's open to all. The myth is that crypto is untraceable. The reality is that the blockchain is forever. With the right analytical tools, governments and corporations can follow the money with terrifying precision. They can link anonymous wallets to real-world names and, as we saw in Canada, they can freeze those assets with a single click. Gold can be melted down, recast, and its origins lost to history. Bitcoin, on the other hand, can be blacklisted. Individual coins can be flagged, and wallets can be marked as tainted, making them useless on major exchanges. So what's safer? Hiding gold bars under your floorboards or memorizing a 12-word seed phrase? What's more vulnerable? A physical seizure by armed agents or silent digital surveillance and a remote freeze? The answer isn't simple. The technology has changed the game entirely, but the ancient rules of power remain the same. And this is why the next wealth grab could be even bigger, even faster, and even more silent than any before. Because in the digital age, total control is just a keystroke away. So how can you possibly protect your privacy, let alone your wealth, in a world where governments are always watching and technology is giving them X-ray vision? The key is to understand that this isn't new. History is a warning, written in gold, in paper, and now in code. Every era brings a new promise of privacy, a new hope that this time your wealth is truly yours. But every era also brings a new tool for control. In the 1930s, the US government made private gold ownership illegal and seized it from citizens. In the 2000s, complex banking laws allowed them to monitor and freeze cash transactions at will. Today, Bitcoin wallets can be flagged and blacklisted in an instant. The pattern is crystal clear. When governments feel threatened by economic instability or social unrest, they act. And when they act, individual privacy is always the first casualty. The lesson here is profound. No system is immune. No technology is untouchable. Not gold, not cash, not crypto. The only true defense we have is awareness. It's about knowing these historical cycles, reading the signs of what's to come, and preparing yourself before the next crisis hits. Will you be ready when the next wave of surveillance technology is rolled out? Will you know how to protect your privacy, your freedom, and your future in a world that wants to track everything? The answers aren't just in today's headlines. They're buried deep in financial history, waiting for those who dare to look. Subscribe for more of this hidden financial history and learn how to protect what's yours before the next crisis arrives. Next time, we'll uncover the forgotten story of the world's first digital currency ban. A fascinating tale of innovation, fear, and a battle for control that is still being fought today. Thanks for watching.